It makes a difference having women there, because you need to represent the totality of the society. Football is for all society, and having only half of the population there, it's no sense. So we need women, we need their competence, we need their approach, we need them to push football in general, but we need them also to push women's football, that girls can play football. So it's obvious, and how can you not use the competence of half the population? So it's so many obvious reasons.
Women in the game are so important. It's really important for the younger generation, first of all, to have someone to look up to, but it's really important that those women in the game are nurturing and paving the way for other women in the game too. It's going to be a slow and gradual process, but the more of us who are making inroads, the more of us who are getting into higher positions, the better.
We've got a lot to offer in terms of our expertise, our knowledge, our experiences, both life and professionally. So I think in all aspects of business, whether it's football or we're working across industries, you need that diversity in terms of experiences and voice to make any successful business sustainable in the long term.
It's about not just getting women in the boardroom because they're women, but I think it's about obviously recognising the benefits of having women in the boardroom, i.e. decision-making skills, obviously organisational skills. So I think there's a great benefit for women being in the boardroom and being passionate about football as well. There's a lot of women that are passionate about football, and I think recently we've seen in men's football the sort of downfall of people who are in control of the game, who aren't necessarily making decisions about football. Blackburn being the perfect example. So I think there's a lot of women who are passionate about football who could have a strong influence on football. And, I'm a great advocate for it.
But I think it would be so valuable and such a good experience to have more women within a newsroom, because women add so much more, and that's not just on the camera, that's also behind the camera as well. The people making the decisions about the stories, about what we're bringing into our planning meetings, about what we're going to be speaking about on the screen, and women should have a big part to play in that.
I think I'm very much a promoter in women being happy with how they look and being proud of their body. It's the only one you get, make the most of it. But I'm a little disappointed that sometimes in this industry you are judged primarily on your body image as opposed to your capabilities in the workplace and what's in your head.
I think generally women growing up are led to believe, right, well, you need to look like that to get on Sky Sports, and I think today it made me realise how unfair that actually is and how far we've still got to go with that.
Most importantly, you've got to be a woman confident about talking about football, and a lot of that confidence starts with a confidence in yourself, in your intelligence, and in the person you are as well. I'd like to think that although there might be a few initial nerves, once a woman gets into a job in sport, she'll forget about what she looks like and remember the stuff that she's doing on a daily basis and working towards and enjoying working for.
I think it's important for us as football players to have a responsibility to encourage young girls to grow up as females that are proud of themselves, who love being in their own skin, and I think part of that is holding ourselves out as females who look good and feel confident in who we are.
It's a society problem, people judge people on how they look and what they wear and what shoes they've got on and whether they've put on a couple of pounds of weight, which we all do. I think the way we can change that is just by not caring, by making the decision to show people that it doesn't matter how we look, whether we've got loads of makeup on or we haven't, but about what we're capable of doing and being proud of what we can do.
Keep your dedication for football, because that proves you really want something, and enjoy, and ask people to join, ask the bodies to join, say you want to contribute, and get allies also. say you want to take a friend with you to be two, enter the boardroom in the club, say here are we, how can we help out, we want to contribute, and never give up, and have confidence in yourself.
I think it's really important that women don't use being a woman to go against them. I think if you're good enough to do any job, you just go ahead and push on and do it. And if you love something that you do, and you do it with great passion, I think that will always come through.
If you believe in your skills and your ability, and also if you have a good network of people around you, if you're lucky enough to have a mentor or people that you can contact and speak to, I'm lucky enough that I can call them up and get advice. And I think just putting the work in and showing people that however they judge you, you're capable of doing the job, and regardless of any knockbacks you get, pushing yourself forward, then I think you'll get through it.
I think it's just really work hard, decide what you want to do, decide where your focus is, and just really work hard and just go for it. And for me, it's worked my entire life. I've just constantly moved to the next challenge and naturally progressed upwards as a result, and that's exactly what I would encourage everyone to do.
I think that they should not be put off by having, if they're passionate about the game and passionate about sports, then clearly that's a huge advantage, because for when we work in general, it's important to have that interest, because we're going to be doing it for most of our lives. The other side of the coin, though, is very much about not being put off if you're not interested in football or sports, in terms of playing it or anything like that. We're very keen to sort of look at the football industry as a sector of business, which I think has been lost in the past. People often think, like I say, it's usually a very loyal situation, and people often end up going into the industry having played or gone into it in that respect. And I'm keen, and we're obviously trying to push forward to sort of showcase the football industry as a business sector, just like any other.
Let's carry on doing a really good job. Let's make sure that we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing, and that we're offering opportunities to other women as well.
Well, this is my first time at Women in Football. I don't know why. I think I should have come many years ago, being a female footballer player. But I think it's really inspirational, and I think it's fantastic to see women with their stories, and to see women at the top, and to see women who don't care about being women being in football. I think it's a great movement. I think it's a movement that's going to grow and continue growing, and I think it's fantastic to have a network like this where we can tap into and help each other and create opportunities and mentor other people like me who, yes, I'm a football player, but I also want to have a career after I finish playing in football, and it's great to have women in football as a network. And as a support system, really. So I'm really pleased I came, and I'll be coming next year or whenever the next one is.
Well, I thought that the women who were on the panel and the women who were speaking were just so impressive. It was really inspiring to hear them, and to hear about the way that they're just keeping on going despite everything that they're facing.
So I attended the Motherhood and Football workshop, which was really enlightening and really interesting as well, because as a freelancer I come across my own hurdles in terms of childcare, trying to make sure that I spend enough time with my daughter, and trying to mix it whilst being a really ambitious person and loving what I do and wanting to do as much of it as I possibly can. What was most interesting to me was that I'm not struggling alone when I do have those awful days, and that other women share my stories too. I picked up some good tips for websites as well, which I never knew existed, and I think just hearing other people's stories is really valuable.
I found today so inspirational. Like a couple of times I felt like nearly crying, because I felt like I found women who I could relate to, who go through the same struggles that I go through, and it was just amazing. Had a really great time.
It's all about, I suppose, growing that pipeline of women to take those positions at board level, and events like this today are really brilliant to help kind of inspire people to actually go ahead and do it, and yeah, I think they're really motivating and inspirational.